Eddie.
Well, listeners, of course, we shared the news a few weeks ago that of Mice and Men are heading back to Australia. And of course, it's after a 6-year absence. They'll be here in February next year, but we actually thought we would get Aaron on the phone tonight to chat a little bit about this amazing tour. Welcome to the program, mate.
Hell yeah, thanks so much for having me.
No worries. Now, mate, I can't believe it's been 6 years since you guys have been here. How excited are you about being able to head back to Australia?
Man, I can't believe it when you said that. I was like, damn, it really has been that long. No, it feels really good. We're super excited. We love Australia. We love our fans out there. And so, post-pandemic, waiting for the right time to come back, it's like we're ready, we're energized, we're stoked.
What was the pandemic like for you guys? Like, that must have been such a weird experience. I mean, I was locked in my house for 2 years, but you guys would have found yourself not on the road. How difficult was that time for you?
We really found a healthy way of preoccupying ourselves. We made 2 self-produced records that we basically did entirely in-house, which was Echo and this recent album, Tether. So, for us, it was just more about focusing on what we can do rather than what we can't, because none of us could control anything with that. So I think focusing on what you can do and the impact you can have and what you can create, I think, is a healthy way of getting through it.
Definitely. You guys reached out to a lot of your fans here in Australia during that time as well. You were fairly active online. How important was that to you to keep in touch with your fans during that period?
It's good for us. Music is, for everybody, it's the cliche that music is the universal language. That's the age-old cliche, but, for us, it really is a way of connecting with other people through sharing our music, and from them sharing how our music relates to them in their lives. It makes us feel like we're less alone in our lives, Like, we create music as much for human connection as the audience listens to it, so we streamed on Twitch for a while when we made our record Echo. We did a lot of the writing and pre-production online, live, like with fans in the room and stuff. So, fans are the singular most important thing in our minds at all times when we're doing anything. Because we wouldn't be anywhere without them, and they are people that have allowed our music to mean something to them. So, sometimes just reminding them that, hey, we are still here. We're not on the road and we're not seeing you in person, but we're still thinking about you all the time. Helps us feel that too, in sort of a reciprocal way, I guess.
Definitely. Now, the album that came out this year was an absolute belter of an album. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like playing those tracks live, because I get the feeling that a lot of people out there, myself included, think this is your best album so far. What's it been like getting out there and playing those tracks live?
To be honest, it's been amazing. It's hard to sort of, I do the mixing and mastering for the records, and so it's funny to see things that I think of as like a project file that lives on my little computer in the corner of my 1-bedroom apartment. It's crazy to kind of see that come to life in a room, and for it's a very humbling feeling that people find meaning in it. Yeah. And we can see it. We can see the reaction live,
Definitely. Now, I was going to ask you about your set list, because, of course, with that 6-year gap from being in Australia, it means that Defy, Earth and Sky, Echo, and Tether have all come out in that time. What does that mean for your set list coming back to Australia and having to incorporate tracks from all of those albums onto that set list?
Oh man, that's the set list game is the hardest game, because you only have 60 to 75 minutes and 8 albums worth of material. So we've been playing a lot of newer stuff, but we've been throwing in a lot of old deep cuts. So it's been a lot of fun. It's fun to promote the new music and at the same time honor the old music.
Yeah. You mentioned how much you've loved touring in Australia previously. What has it been that's made you love Australia so much?
2 things. One, it reminds me of California, so it always feels a little bit like home being there. And the people there are just generally really nice, respectful, want to have a great time. And I think as a culture, you guys really, really appreciate live music and what it means. You know, it's live music exists basically, you know, to get a little esoteric, but it's like, it's alleviation of suffering. You know what I mean? It's people work all week and they save their money up and they buy a ticket and they go to the show and they can cut loose, and whatever, BS, because I know we're on the radio, whatever BS they're dealing with, they don't have to deal with for that hour, you know, and they get to just sort of scream their lungs out to songs that they have allowed, you know, meaning. So for me, it's sort of a twofold thing. Yeah, it reminds me of home. The weather's usually really, like, I've never been there when it's bad weather, and for me, I don't count heat. Heat is bad weather. It's hard to deal with, but it's not, you know, it's not the worst. So yeah, I think it's just largely because, you know, people on that side of the world really let live music matter to them.
Yeah. Is there something that you love to do away from the stage when you're in Australia? Like, do you like to get out there and explore restaurants or try out beers? Is there anything like that you like to do as well?
Oh, I am a big foodie, so I always love food. Doesn't matter when. Yeah, and then just, like, you know, visiting the beaches. We had 1 year during Soundwave, we were out all just in the water, just having a good time. We had rented like boogie boards and surfboards and stuff, and at one point I thought it'd be funny to try and surf back to the beach on my knees, and then as soon as I hit the sand, I just kind of ate it really hard and skinned both my knees up, and then went back in the water without thinking about it. And then I think about 20 minutes later, we heard beach-wide sirens because of, like, a family of hammerheads had shown up or something off the beach. And I didn't even put the two and two together that it might have been me bleeding in the water.
Yep.
That might have brought them in. But no, you know, we love it. We like to take in, especially being from California, you know, it's a big melting pot of cultures. We love experiencing local culture and local cuisine. And the occasional local beer. I'm not a big drinker, not anymore, but yeah, you know, when in Rome.
Yeah, it's interesting. We get told that we do remind a lot of people of California, especially here in Melbourne. We get told that we've kind of got the Californian beach and the Californian weather, but with old English architecture. Do you really feel that at home when you're here?
I do. I really do. You know what I do miss? You know what I do miss though is Pie Face. I heard that a lot of the Pie Face is closed.
Yeah, we've still got them.
Pie Face?
We've still got them here in Melbourne, but they're mainly at truck stops and petrol stations now.
Good to know. Good to know.
So I have to ask. This is a bit of a free plug for them, but what was it about Pie Face that you loved?
Just the flavor. The accessibility, the fact that when I looked down at it, it was smiling at me.
Yep.
Puts you in a good mood, you know?
Yeah. Now, I have to ask, you guys did have 3 albums come out in 3 years, which was an absolutely amazing effort. Where are you guys at now? Are you guys touring? Are you writing new music at the moment? What's going on?
Yeah, we're doing both. We stay pretty busy with ideas. You know, we always kind of start tinkering almost immediately after we're done with a project. We'll kind of write 1 or 2 more songs. Like if we've completed a record, we'll work on 1 or 2 more, 3 more instrumentals just to have sort of a roadmap or a bridge to sort of think about, okay, well, from right here where we sit, having just finished something, what do we think the next thing would be? And so we usually come up with, you know, a few instrumentals. And then through touring, we get to see a lot, we'll call it like market research, if you will, but we get to see a lot of the reaction, not just amongst like fans with regards to excitement, but like emotional reaction, and to really see to try and get a gauge for what our audience likes, and what they're wanting and almost requiring, if you will, you know? Yeah. And so, but a majority of it, you know, we'll get into in between tours. We'll kind of start cracking into stuff, but we always like staying busy and like staying creative. Because for us, the studio is a really fun thing, and because we've done our last 2 records, and we plan on doing them that way in the future. Because we do them in house, it sort of allows us to create albums in a more slower and thought out, meticulous process, rather than just like, okay, here's your month to be in the studio.
Yeah.
Get all your songs ready and then re-record them. So, we always stay pretty busy.
When you were talking about what the fans want from you as well, your music is very personal. It's very emotive. Do you have a lot of fans come up to you and talk about their own personal problems that they're having in life and how your tracks have helped them as well?
Oh yeah, all the time. And it's one of the I think the highest compliments that somebody could pay us. Not that it's great or that it sounds good or that it's exciting, but if they can say, I heard my story in your story, and maybe they've never heard somebody tell their story, but if they hear me tell my story and they can hear their story in it, that's the whole point of it. I always try and write from a lyrical point of view to where the listener is the I and the me in the song. It's not me. They're not listening to Aaron sing about Aaron. They're listening to them sing about themselves. I'm just the voice of that, and that's always kind of my approach to it, because I don't ever want it to be self-aggrandizing or listen to me talk about me. Yeah. Because nobody connects with that. But for me, that was something that I connected with music a long time ago. When I was young, and discovering bands, and you'd hear the vocalist say a line or something, and even though it's in the first person, it's like me listening to that. That first person was me, the listener, you know? And so that's always really important to me.
Definitely. Well, mate, I know your music has spoken to a lot of us over the years, so I want to say thank you so much for that, and I also want to say thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us tonight. I know we're running out of time very quickly, but to finish off, what would you like to say to all of your fans here in Australia who have already got tickets to the shows or are about to go out and grab tickets to the shows?
I would just like to say, share a deepest, sincerest thank you. We love you guys over there, and it has taken us a really long time to be able to come back. And just thank you for the continued support. Thank you especially, for supporting the band and spinning the songs and bringing the music to people, and not just our music, but other music. We're so excited. If you haven't got tickets yet, you can go to micetickets.com, where there's link to tickets and the shows. We can't wait to see everybody. It's going to be such a good time. And the bill is really sick, so we're really stoked.
Definitely.